Hello again. So, I hope that you can hear me well. I have checked the mic and I'm keeping that thing next to my mouth so you can have a better sound. And I'm sorry about the low quality in the background. I am in a busy hotel just now, so it's a bit difficult to find a quiet spot. But actually, I feel like that background with a little bit of noise and people around, living their life, working, coming for holidays, spending time with their family and staff as well of the hotel, working, serving, taking care of the guests, normal life. In the midst of we all are at that moment, any given moment, and how to. I'm already jumping to the topic. I have announced a second ago in a previous live video, grieving and loss, how to persevere and be part of everyday life amidst other people, and keep up with the life in our families, of our personal goals, professional goals, work, making money. If we encounter in our life path loss that causes us to slow down and to grieve, to remember, to stay with the memories. And by grieving and remembering and staying with the memories, I don't really mean processing, because in our world we are really focused on achieving and also healing. And that healing sometimes is a very fashionable thing to do and another thing to tick off on our list of achievements and successes. Grieving is not an achievement, it's a process that is difficult. And it's difficult also because it makes us very lonely. Because even if we lost somebody who was an important person to other people as well, which is usually the case, or if we lost a possibility, perhaps it is not a grief that is to do with a person that has left, that has died, but sometimes we also grieve over possibilities that are gone, that didn't happen, and they don't have a chance to happen, or have a very little chance to happen again. That could be, for example, loss of health because of an accident, or perhaps loss of a phase in our life because we're getting, for example, older, and there are some chapters that we need to close down, that they will not happen. It could be grieving over the dreams from childhood that have never been realized, or they were realized too late to really enjoy them. And grieving is an important part of life, but in our culture and modern times, most of us try to deny it, to keep up with the pace of the society. And like I said, that culture of achieving, being successful, being always right, being ideal, there's a lot of requirements there, you name it. Having perfect weight, perfect partner, perfect children, perfect car, perfect holidays, perfect flat, perfect house, perfect career, blah, 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 blah. There's a lot of pressure that we put on ourselves, that we teach also the new generation to put on themselves. And very rarely we allow ourselves to trust enough in life, in ourselves, and in the capacity of life that we are part of, to carry us through that process of grieving that sometimes might take really many years. And usually it goes a little bit in the background at the times when we really have to stand strong for our families, at work, and we need to kind of put that grief aside for a little bit. And once the task is done, and sometimes it's a long-term goal or task, and the grief comes back. And it's very natural. It's not something to get over. And it's important to allow ourselves to mourn. Why did I say that music and the noise in the background in that busy hotel that I'm staying just now at, actually visiting? Why did I say it could be supportive actually to the topic I have chosen today to share with you? Because this is exactly how the grieving process looks like for the person who decides somehow not to fully isolate themselves, to process their feelings, to be with their feelings, to be with the memories of the person that's gone or the possibility that is gone. For the person who decides somehow to stay in the group, to keep on working, for example, or obviously if you have children, you need to take care of them and you're trying the best. For example, if you've lost your wife or your husband, you're trying the best to be the best parent to your children, despite the loss of your partner. And inside there is that grieving. And really, what I would like to say, there's no, in my view, a prescription or a recipe on how to deal with it, because dealing with it would be actually exactly the opposite of what is happening here. It is more about allowing, acknowledging, accompanying ourselves, being honest with ourselves, being open to what is happening, and finding the place in ourselves that stays strong, but not through the effort, but just through being. So we have a possibility here to become more mature, because we learn that we are always present to what is happening in our lives, to our feelings. And in this way, we learn some kind of safety that is not dependent on outer circumstances. And in that space where we feel safe and the connection with it really develops over the time, we can process grieving. I said process, but really feel it. Feel the grief whilst still taking part in our active lives. But for sure, it requires a change, because losing somebody who has died, or losing a possibility, losing a time of our life when we could have done something but we haven't, and it comes back to us at some point later on and we realize there's no way we're gonna do it anymore. For example, somebody has married and has children of somebody else, or we are not fit enough to take a job anymore on another continent. Let's say if we dreamed about, I don't know, working in Japan, for example, we're getting older, we will not be able to fly anymore so often to get that job, yeah? So what I'm talking about is a loss of a possibility as well that was important to us. Staying present to our feelings means that we can face the emptiness that that loss has left us with. And facing that emptiness is a courageous and lonely thing. And once we face it, we are not afraid of being amongst other people. But obviously we will not be so available for some time to them, and even if it's our close ones, our partners, our children, or if it's our work, something important to us, we will not be fully available like before to attend to those important people in our life or to our professional goals. And that is also part of the process of grieving and that loss, because we're losing part of ourselves. And in a way, I wouldn't describe, as some people do, spiritual teachers or maybe therapists, I wouldn't describe grieving as a possibility for hope and renewal and rebirth, because I think that if something's gone, it is gone completely. And in order to start a new phase of our lives, we sometimes need to literally wait and wait and wait and wait and wait until it will start by itself. There's not much that we can do in here, and that is exactly the opposite of what the culture of achieving is, because culture of achieving and being successful is about staying in control. And when the loss happens, we are not in control. We are not in control of the loss. Many people blame themselves, for example, for loss of the health. And they say that something could have been done, maybe better doctors could have been found, different lifestyle, different life choices. But when we look at the bigger picture, and we stay quiet and not judgmental, we find that space in ourselves or around us, you name it, you call it the way you feel is right, that describes it best for you. We find that space that doesn't make this kind of judgments, that doesn't have those kind of opinions, that doesn't have any expectations. And in that space, we can allow ourselves not even to go through what is happening, but to be with what is happening. And then, at some point, a sense of liberation comes, not from those feelings, because they're here and they're important and they're part of ourselves, but somehow from all of those expectations and tension and expectation that we will be able to be firm, strong, keep on achieving, keep on proving, and so on and so on. What is in a way interesting, that sense of freedom becomes an invitation to, at some point in our own time, embrace the difficult events and loss as part of our identity, as part of who we are. And then that becomes like a very fertile ground for lots of life to come to ourselves, to happen. And when I mean lots of life, I mean everything. Everything. It's just like whatever your heart calls you towards, whatever you feel called towards. Naturally, you're gonna start meeting new people, you're gonna make different decisions, different choices, you're gonna go to new places, because that natural urge to be alive, to be part of life, as you always have been since you were born, will wash you like a wave, like a fresh air, like a fresh breeze. But to get to that point, you cannot actually do anything. And that's the difficulty in grieving. There's nothing that you can do to make that fresh breeze, new wave of life wash over you. All you can do is just to be, without even waiting. Because when you are in the midst of that process, let's call it like that, the midst of this time in your life, you don't know what will happen. It's like a dark abyss. I wondered how you would describe the time when you were grieving over a loss of a person. And I would like to encourage you, if you're interested in this topic, to take some time today, as it's Sunday, and I'm sorry about the noise in the background. Take some time today, in the evening perhaps, when all the tasks are done, the week ahead has been planned, kids are sleeping. Switch off that TV, go for a walk or take your notebook, sit on your favorite chair and write down even a few sentences about your loss, about maybe the person that you have lost, or that possibility, or it could be something else. You know what it is. Write down about that thing and then write down also about yourself. Don't forget about yourself in it. And the more you spend time, or you choose to sit down with it, to commit time and space to these feelings around the loss, the easier it's gonna be for you to continue dedicating other parts in your life to your growth. Keep on going, and you will see that humility, being humble, that quality of humility, being humble, that naturally happens, grows in you, become that because of that loss. It will in a way affect every other part of your life, because when we allow ourselves to be humbled and broken and sad because of the loss, at the same time we really open ourselves a lot to life the way it is. And it might not be obvious at the beginning, or even for a long time, but I believe that over time you will see that this openness in yourself has become much vaster, and there is an invitation in it. I wish you a very good Sunday and all the best in achieving your goals. And that live video was in a way a tribute to my own losses, and also a sign of a sisterhood and brotherhood to everyone who has gone through a loss and grieving. Thank you so much for being here, and if you would like further assistance in your process, you are very welcome to send me a message. I primarily work with people on achieving their goals, turning their dreams into their goals and achieving them. But sometimes part of it is also working with the loss, because whatever happens in our lives is part also of the process of getting closer to ourselves. And being close to ourselves, loving ourselves, includes making our dreams true. Thank you one more time for being here with me today. You can find a description of empowerment through creative process coaching, which I am the author of, in the description of this video. And there is also my email address there, WINTERJASMINEART@gmail.com, to which you can send a message in order to sign up for a session online. which till the end of this month are at a discounted price, £100 per hour. And you can also see me in person in Poland on Tuesday. I'm available for a meeting in Sopot in the morning. The meetings in person cost £200 per hour, and they are quite rare. There is not much availability during the year, but this is for the people who really feel like working on their goals with me would be more suitable for them in person rather than online. But if you feel that online session is what you need, that could be a bit easier to book, and they're also a little bit cheaper. Thank you so much once more. I'm happy that you are here, and once more have a beautiful Sunday, and I send you very warm wishes, and keeping my fingers crossed for all of my clients, for my followers, for my Facebook friends. Sail well on your journey, your life journey, that includes your dreams, includes losses, includes everything that happens. Thank you, and I'll see you soon again. Goodbye now.